Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Big plans for today. I have a long list, and at the end of the day I'll have a list of things that I finished, and I suspect that one will be shorter, but I'm going to do what I can. So all of my mounts need watering today. I'm getting to the point where they'll be split into two. Those that effectively need to continue to be watered, although at a reduced rate, and those that are heading into their rest period, which at this point of the year will miss a turn. That's as far as I go. Some of them are still growing, so I don't want to cut them short. So water all the mounts. To water the mounts, I get them down. So plan A is to incorporate that job with other jobs. So I'm going to get this lot watered and get them over there somewhere. First job, get the Vandas watered and hung back up, so that they're out of the way, basically. They never got put back from the last time they were watered, on the grounds they're okay where they are. They're in bloom, they don't need the highlight at the moment, but they need getting out of the way. So then we get all this lot down, water them, hang them up to drip. That enables me to get at that rack, take it down, and take these two lights down, get them unwired and out of the way. Yeah, that's that bit done. Now, all of these plants are not going to be able to go back yet, because the next job is to get that down, which isn't a big job, quite honestly. It's only a couple of hooks to undo, and it'll be a bit of string to cut, and that'll be down. But then what I've got to do is get that one, the Spider Farmer one, fixed up here. Then I've got to get these two lights fixed up over here before I can go any further. Yeah? Because I need to sort the cables out. Then we can get that rack back up, get the plants back up where they're supposed to be, and carry on watering the mounts. We're heading for a cold snap. I need to get my heater set up. The idea of leaving the door open when I go to bed is all very well, but if the temperatures drop down too much and they're lower in the day as well, it's not enough. And also I wake up to a freezing cold house in the morning, so I need to get to the point where the heater does its job overnight and the door can be closed round, and I at least get up to a warm house. So the heater's going to come down. That's got to be wired in. There's a little thermostat up there, yeah, that at the moment switches on to cool things, circulating fans. Well, that's got to be rewired. There's a separate pair of input and output to switch it from cooling to heating. So I've got to unwire it as it is and rewire it with the heater and this fan up here into the thermostat. This one stays separate. So this one stays manual. So the heater will go on the floor. When the heater comes on, hot air rises and this thing oscillates to distribute that heat round the place and stop getting hot spots or cold spots. Yeah, so that's how I work my heater. I don't leave it on its own, because the heat will go straight up into the roof. The roof will heat up and a bit down the bottom will stay cold. So that's how I work the heater. So that's got to be wired in. That can be left till last. That may be the item that doesn't get done. But if it doesn't, I got a problem tonight. We're heading down towards freezing. So I really ought to get that done. And then on top of all that, the one that is most likely to get left is I ought to water my holy clay pots today. But because of the cooler temperatures and everything, they can go an extra day. They're not all going to drop dead overnight or anything. But my other Cattleyas come out. Just a quick look. Look at the difference in the colour. See, this one gains colour as it ages. It's a much deeper pink, yeah, whereas that one up there is almost white because it's only just opened. So that's the first of the Cattleyas. There's more. Oh, I say first of the Cattleyas, and look what snuck out while I was out all day, or most of yesterday. Let's just get that down while I'm here. The little yellow one has opened. Now this one gets a deeper colour as it ages. Got 6 blooms on there this time, so that's quite good. It's a pretty little Cattleya, lovely compact plant. That is it. That's as big as it gets. So that's good stuff. And that is, I've forgotten, little lemon drops crossed with Encyclia Veterliana. Betulina. I'll get there in a minute. Yeah, so yeah, pretty little one. It didn't bloom that long ago, quite honestly. So it seems to bloom faster than annually, if you know what I mean. You know, it comes round into bloom quicker than every year. Let's just get that back up out of the way, because it will be in the way. Right, so I need to crack on. That's part A of this video. Part B will be showing what it's going to look like when I've finished. And the next two videos, not necessarily in this order, I'm going to look at the Tolumnias, two of which have been thrown out over the last month. They failed miserably, and both of them were from the Christmas set. I think I've only got one or two left from that 5. They didn't do well, they just didn't get going. Maybe being transported, you know, change of media, all that sort of thing in December, on reflection, might not have been the best of ideas. Anyway, we'll have a look at the Tolumnias. That'll make a nice video. And I need to do my resting type dendrobiums seasonal stuff to add to that series. So those will be the next two. I doubt if I'll get either of those filmed today. I'll see what I can do. I mean, I've actually got to manhandle the Tolumnias now as I do my watering. But it interrupts watering if I stop to film. And with the days being shorter, you know, I get less time. I don't like to start any earlier, so I just get less time to do things. So I'll see how I go, and we'll see how the list goes down. Knowing me, I'll find some other things to do and add to the list. So the list will get longer, and the amount that doesn't get done will also get longer. We'll see how we go. Right, that's phase 1 done. That wasn't as difficult as I was expecting. Luckily there were some places to hook things on and tie things without putting up new stuff. It's not perfect, but it's certainly going to do. These two lights now, this one lights up that area and this, bearing in mind I do put plants on this table. The other one lights up that area and this top, and a little bit filters down and gets to those over there. The big one now lights up almost everything. That side angle light there, down into there, that shelf, obviously all of that lot will be included. There's shadows here, obviously that light is, you know, that light there is casting a shadow. Well, that's all right, I can put things behind there that don't perhaps need such brighter light, and I'm getting a lot more light in this area. Yeah, so that's the stuff that's got to go back on those empty racks. So that's that bit done. No rewiring to do. Everything reached. Everything's sort of okay. A few things will need rearranging. Those Tolumnias up there are now in a shadow. Well, they can move along a bit or even come over here. So yeah, a bit of shuffling to do, but yeah, not too bad. It'll be interesting to see this in the dark, because it's actually reasonable light at the moment. But anyway, that's the first bit done. Now I'm going to get on with the watering, and I'll leave the heater till last. But after what I've just done, I now need a break. Ugh. Right, that'll do for one day. Now all I've got to do is see if everything actually works. There's a big bang, followed by a cloud of smoke. You know, I poked some wires in the holes wrong. These are going to work, that's no problem, because they haven't even been unplugged. All that happened to these top lights was they got moved, so I know they're going to work. And strictly speaking, this one up here should be okay, apart from the fact I've not got me switching on pokey stick, being short, whatnot. So that goes up there and everybody gets, oh, wrong one. So that goes there. So which is the spider one then? That one? Yeah, that's the one. Right, my little heater's out. Now that is an oscillating heater, but I don't let it, because the only place I can put it is in this corner, the farthest point away from the plants. There's a reason for that. I don't want to actually roast them, and if it oscillates, the first thing it's going to do is heat up my ferns, so that's a no-no. But what I do is I wire it up to this fan, which does oscillate. So is it actually switched on? No, it's not. It'll work better if it's switched on, but it won't come on until I fiddle with the thermostat, because I've had to change it from cooling to heating now, which is a matter of taking two wires out and putting them back in a different place, plus wiring the heater in, obviously. Right, I've forgotten how to work this. First setting. I need to just set this temperature high at the moment to make sure it comes on. That'll do. Yes, we have contact. No puffs of smoke. Oscillating fan. I might try and get that angled down a bit, so that it... the idea is that the heat blows out from here and warm air rises. So as it rises, it gets caught by this and distributed. That's the theory anyway, and it's always worked before. No reason why it shouldn't work now. I presume there is actual heat coming out. Yes, we have heat. That's good. Now that's got 3 settings, 1, 2 and 3. If I put it on 3, which is effectively 3 kilowatts, it's too hot. Although it heats up the room quicker, that heat can reach some of the plants and starts roasting them. So I keep it on 2 and take it down to 1. It might even be better. The cooler the air is that comes out, the better. I know that sounds daft because it will take longer to raise the temperature, but it won't raise it as severely, and you have to offset the electricity for the fan will be on a bit longer, but it'll only be using 1 kilowatt of heating element, so it balances itself out. The idea is, I mean, basically that will be set. I'm going to go to 13 degrees this year. I went down to 12 last year, but in previous years the winter resters were okay at well, they were at 14 originally, and I came down to 13. Last year I went to 12, and some other things started suffering a bit because it was a bit too cold. So I'm going to set it at 13 and split the difference and see how it goes. At the moment I'm going to set it to 14 because I don't want to go dramatically into cold. I want to try and pretend that autumn is happening, so the nights are gradually getting cooler. So I might even set it at 15 actually for a couple of weeks, and then take it down to 14 and then down to 13 as we head into December. Shade netting's off the roof, so that's gone now. The only shading on the roof now is the bubble wrap and the fact that it's an opaque whatever you call that stuff, polycarbonate. So that's got no shade netting now. The double skin of shade netting that I put back on, because I got told off because my oncidiums were too pale, that second layer's come off now, so we're down to 1 layer all round, and probably in about 2 weeks time that's going to come off. Yeah, I want to wait till we get to the point where the days are short, not quite at their shortest, but the rate of change has gone right down to next to nothing. That's the point at which the shade netting comes off, and I forget when it is. I think it's about the end of the second week of November, something like that. Shortest day is the 20-something of December, so that would give it about 4 weeks either side of the shortest day with no shade netting at all, and then the shade netting goes back on as soon as that strength starts coming back in the sun in the spring, as we head into spring. So that's where we are. Everything's all working. Let's redo that thermostat. We don't really want it set to 25 in here, do we? Not this time of year anyway. Yeah, happy, reasonable day's work. Lots of faffing, fiddling with wires, taking stuff to bits and putting it back together again, and I watered my mounts and stopped. I'd had enough. So we'll crack on tomorrow and get back to some what I might call proper orchid videos, not gadgets. So there we are, that's all up and running, and I think on dull days I might actually extend the lights, because the whole idea of the lights is to extend the day length, but on really dull days I might be able to add a couple of extra hours in of reasonable light. Yeah, I mean, it's, what is it now? Coming up to 3 o'clock. So, you know, it's middle of the afternoon, but it's really dull outside. You know, we've had some drizzly rain again, and it's cloudy. There's been no sign of the sun all day. So I might use the lights for longer. Instead of just waiting till it sort of just starts to get dark and taking that up to the 11 hours, I might actually give them an extra couple of hours with the lights on dull days. You know, sort of give them like 6 hours of reasonable light instead of just the 3 on the end. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm happy that everything's all working. Reasonable day's work. And in between, I've done an awful lot of work on our Orchid Society magazine. It's a fiddly one this time because I've got to put the show results in, and it's like a grid, you know, with sort of classes, plant name, and who won what, and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit more fiddly than just putting text and pictures in. So but I've got that bit done. That was the hard bit. Now I've got a few other bits still to finish off, but the plan is to do a little bit each day now to get it finished off. It's got to be ready, let me think, end of November. Yeah, I've got about 10 days left to go, because it has to go away for proofreading and everything. Make sure that people that have given me stuff have spelt stuff right, and stuff that I've written is spelt right, and plant names are correctly spelt and everything. Can't have any mistakes. But I've got some good proofreaders, so I just use the spell checker, and anything that misses they get. And between the 3 of us we usually get it. And if there's an odd mistake left in there, it's not the end of the world. You know, Jupiter won't come crashing down out of the sky because there's a spelling mistake in a magazine. That'll be the day. Anyway, I will see you sometime tomorrow with what I'll call a proper orchid video. Let's get back to actually looking at some plants and talking about how to look after them and things like that. See you tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by.